Hello, everybody. This is Zikri Kolil, your co-founder of Incitement. It has been a very long time since we have embarked on this journey as Incitement itself. And I know a lot of you have been crying out loud for some content, some form of event that we can get you to be more immersed, more intrusive, and yet more participative. And we have come up with our first ever episode to bring a special speaker who will help you identify what it means of being herself. Why is she doing what she's doing? Why is it a problem? Especially in this pandemic time that we are thriving through at the moment. And also, how can you, as the audience at Incitement or wherever you are, can participate in helping each other out? So, without further ado, I'm gonna bring up our guest speaker here, who represents a organization called We Can Academy. It is an academy focusing on providing professional subjects to a lot of the younger educators, and also for students who can get more real practical experience. And I think the best way to find out more is to bring her on board. So everybody give a round of applause to Mei Yi. Yeap. Welcome to the show. How are you, Mei Yi?
Hi, thanks for having me, Zikri. I'm very well, and you?
I am good to have you here with us, and of course I'm feeling absolutely excited to learn a bit more on what is going on in your realm of your world. As we know, we've been working quite some time together for a long time, so I thought it's best to have you incite in a positive way to tell everybody what are you working on. So maybe you could tell us a bit about yourself and your organization, so that we know who we want to bond with.
My name is Mei Yi, and I am from the state that has the best food in the whole country, which is Penang. And I'm saying this without any bias whatsoever. And I have spent the last 10 years of my career in mainly tech. I was in an MNC, and then after that in startups. And at some point in my life, I decided that I want to go and do my master's degree. And when you want to get into a master's degree, they make you write essays, and they make you think about your life. What have you achieved? What do you want to do? And that's when I really spent some time in reflection on what I want to do for the next stage in my life. And that's when I decided to start a school.
Oh wow! I mean, it's a very nice background that you just shared about us. When you started this school, you mentioned. I mean, what is the problem that you were trying to identify, or is it through your experience? If I could say that, or
yeah. I think most people agree that education is the key for social mobility. Oftentimes we say that get a good education and then you can do whatever you want. That's what our parents tell us. But there's one missing component in that, which is that unequal distribution of resources meant that high quality education is out of reach for the kids who really need it. So if you come from a family that is maybe have more resources, more connections and network, what it does is that it gives you the opportunities for you to discover your talents and hone your skills. If you come from a family that has less ability to give you that resources, then you have less opportunity to do it. Doesn't mean you can't, but it just means you have less opportunity to do it. So affluence and social network of parents give exposure and opportunities for you to do less, for you to do better in life. And what this means is that the inequity that we see today is going to be replicated from this generation to next generation and so on. So what I wanted to do is to address that specific thing, which is what sociologists call the social capital gap. So when I started the school, but before I started the school, actually, I looked around to see, what are other people doing in this area. And I encountered a school in Amsterdam that has been running for more than 20 years. And what they do, is that they bring professionals from different industries like law and journalism and medicine, engineering, and so on. And they translate the skills and experience of these professionals into lessons for the kids. So the kids learn in very interactive ways. They get to be a journalist for a day or a lawyer for a day. And what happens is that they build up their confidence that they can explore and pursue what resonates with them so that they can do their best work in life. And that really resonated with me as well. So I reached out to the school in Amsterdam and I said, I want to bring it over here to Malaysia. And they said, okay, come and we train you. And that's what I did. So I started a pilot in 2019 and started the full program in 2020, just as COVID came on. So timing not so fantastic, but I was glad that we could kickstart it for the first batch of students.
I'm curious, as this probably requires some pivoting since you launched it right during this pandemic. Am I right?
Yeah, so we did do some online modules. The way we run the courses before this is that it's very interactive. So this is a very deliberate design choice. We want the students to interact with the professionals. And a lot of studies have shown that the ability to have many role models in life allows the young people to really explore and choose a path that works for them. So we wanted the professionals to interact with the students as a way to provide that opportunity for those types of creating this role model for them. So when and the lesson is quite long. We run a class on Saturday from 10 to 3. So when pandemic came and we have to switch to online, I mean, can you imagine 11-year-old and 12-year-old kids sitting in front of a computer for 5 hours? Also, many of my students face accessibility issue, may not have internet connection at home, may not have devices at home. Thankfully, we managed to address that through like YTL sponsorship with the mobile phone for the kids and so on. But still, so we have to pivot a little bit, like you say, Zikri, because we can't do the same thing. So we decided to compress it a little bit and do a smaller mini version of that. And I call it the work in progress. So the epiphany for that is that I saw a lot of content out there that talks about the COVID vaccine. And I was interested in the whole process of the vaccine being created. But I also realized that very few of those materials are made available to very young children. So what this means is that either the parents will talk to the kids about it, or unless the kids are very, very advanced. Right. So I decided that I wanted to create something that is talking about current issues, because that's when kids are very curious, but designed at a level that is accessible for the students. So we run a whole series on vaccine, from how it is developed and made and tested, and then how it is being transported from, wherever it was manufactured to Malaysia, and how it is being stored, how the whole cold chain logistics happen. So we did that whole series for them. It is a 1-hour thing. And then they also get to ask questions of the professionals, like, how do you become a scientist? How do you do this and that? So that was really fun program that we did.
And if I can just focus more on the problem itself, to be frank, simply because I think the audience would like to be more, everyone who's watching would like to relate themselves. Like, if this is such a problem in the education field, why should I care? For example, and like why does it really matter? Because from what you're elaborating, of course, I totally agree with you. But sometimes we don't, not everyone's on the same boat. So how could you tell everyone here that this is one of the one of the issues that we really need to take more seriously?
I think when we look at the discourse that's happening today, either on social media, on newspaper, and so on, and we say that, why is it that this, this group, they're not using science as a way to inform them? Why are they so stubborn? Like, I think when we look at people who disagree with us in some ways, we kind of like say that, okay, this is maybe uninformed decision, or it's not based, the decision or the view is not informed by seeking out more information and so on. And then the second thing is that I feel if you look at the way that we disagree, in a way, we don't know how to disagree well. We don't know how to have conversations on things that are really important, but Absolutely. That we have disagreement on, and we just shut it down. We're like, oh, don't be rude, and don't say this, or we report you to the police and so on. And this is very troubling to me. I feel that if we want to live in a society where citizens are well informed, empowered, and motivated to make independent choices, then we got to do something about it. We got to invest the time and effort to broaden the horizons of young minds today, because the young people today, they are going to be the citizens of tomorrow, and they're going to be the ones that make decisions and have all this sorts of conversations. So yes, it affects us, because we want to live in a better society. That's the first thing. Second thing is that inequality affects us all. It used to be that we say, oh, we built, maybe in the 1960s and so on, we built schools and we say we have universal education. Great, everyone can go to school. But as I mentioned just now, today, what allows for a child to be successful is more than just being able to go to school. Of course, that's important too, but it's also the opportunity afforded to young people to hone their skills and to nurture their talents. And this is ever more important because we live in a changing landscape, in a very volatile environment, where the work landscape and the work environment, it changes so quickly. So we don't want to just be churning out workers. We want to be making sure that we are developing and nurturing young people so that they're able to adapt to the changes. If we have a class of citizens who grow up without the right skills, without the ability to adapt and change, we are going to see deeper inequality. And the fact is that it's going to affect everyone. That's just why we need to care.
No, I'm truly touched by that, to be honest. I know it's been very well said by many people like you as well on trying to take this more seriously, especially in a country like Malaysia. It just happens to be that I think people just are not looking at the root cause, which I feel you're filling up that gap, where the big gap between practicality and what else can students these days, trying to make them the citizens of the future in this nation, should more look into. And that goes to my next question. Since you've been inciting us all and being more insightful on this particular topic, I want to ask: is there a way of ordinary people like us can be involved, or even if it's not with your organization, what else can we do? And if there is a initiative under We Can Academy, or what would you suggest that we can do?
There are many ways to give back to society. You can either give of your time, or you can either give of your resources, or both. You can give of your expertise. Certainly, I would say that it is important to look out for a cause that resonates with you, that you believe in, that you want to invest your time and resources in. And Incitement is a great platform for you to discover these sorts of causes out there, so that whatever you choose to do, be it to give of money, to give of your time, I think that is one way to make sure that we create a society that we want to live in. For me, obviously, I strongly believe that education is one big way to do that. If education is something that resonates with you and you want to support, certainly you can either volunteer with us. We always look for people to volunteer to teach. We have a series of 16 different modules that we want to teach the students, and so yeah, please volunteer your time with us. If you don't want to teach, maybe you can also do facilitation. So we have a class of 25 students. Sometimes when we have a professional who is teaching, we do need some facilitators to work in smaller group with the students so that they can understand the content a little bit better. Or you can volunteer your skill set. So if you want to do photography for us, if you want to do videography, we want to do social media for us, we would more than welcome. And of course, if you would like to give of resources, please donate to us, wecanacademy.org/donate. That will definitely help to make it sustainable. Vast majority of our resources goes into teachers, to teach the to be the person that grows with the class. Even though we have volunteer professionals who teach, there is one teacher per class, and that's the teacher that grows with the students for the 2 years that they're with us. And then we also pay for food and transportation for the kids when they come to class. And every module, at the end of the module, we have a big final project. The most recent one we did was for the kids to go to an art gallery to exhibit their very own artwork after the end of a module with a visual artist. So they actually get to see their own canvas painting in an art gallery with their artist name next to it. So it's a very proud thing for them to be able to achieve these things. So all of these things cost money. So if you would contribute to that, that will help keep our courses going for the kids.
Mei Yi, thank you so much for joining us today. Those who have been tuning in, feel free to make great use of your ordinary time and help to solve this problem by joining Weekend Academy. There's a link below that you can go and have a look. And also check out for their projects also on the Incitement platforms as much as we can try to help each other. And at the end of the day, I thank you again for joining us at our first ever It Matters show. So thank you so much, Mei Yi, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, Zikri. Thank you for having me.
Likewise.